What is up? All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that music. Welcome, everyone. This is the first ever live stream on Semi-Sendy, 3 years in the making. And yeah, stoked to have everybody here, and a little nervous. Never done this before, but glad y'all are here to help me fumble through it. Anyways, it's Friday night, and we're going to kick back, hang out together, have a ton of fun, and hopefully have a few good laughs. Tonight I've got Joe, a.k.a. the Calirado Kid. He's joining me, and it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. If you don't already know Joe, if you don't already know who he is, check him out here on YouTube, Instagram, the TikTok, and yeah. He's got some good stuff. He's a funny guy, and he's one of the fastest growing creators out there. But he's also the king of live streams, so I'm stoked to have him here to help pull me through this extravaganza. Anyways, yeah, I want to kick things off by saying thank you to all of you out there who've supported the channel along the way. I mean, doing this YouTube thing, it's actually it's pretty challenging. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to level with you. It's kind of challenging, and if it wasn't for all of you, this channel wouldn't exist. That is the honest truth. And yeah, so thank you from the bottom of my heart to everyone who supported along the way. Positive comments you all have left here go a long way. And those of you who have run into me on the trail and you know, shared your appreciation, that honestly means a lot. So I know I'm not always the most approachable person. I can have a little bit of a resting D face, but honestly, I absolutely love it. So don't ever stop doing that. Definitely, it brightens up my day, and yeah, really appreciate it. Also, wanted to say I can't do this without my channel supporters. Sean at N+1 Bikes, Cody and Troy at HandUp Gloves, Hunter and Javi at Spokex, all the way across the country. They're out in Temecula, California. Thank you all for believing in me. You know, it's nice to have awesome people in your corner, and it feels good to have that support. That really means a lot. So thank you all. Just so, and on that topic, just so everyone knows, I'm not sponsored by anyone. It allows me to do independent reviews, you know, in these businesses. I mean, they basically help just keep the overhead down and help keep me trucking along so I can do all this for you guys. Believe it or not, at my level, on YouTube is far from profitable. So it goes a long way to help me. But anyways, yeah, again, just makes me happy you guys are all here tonight. Cover a couple quick topics with you guys real quick, a little bit of news. Next video coming out is going to be a nuke-proof mega review. Hoping I can get that out tomorrow morning. I can't guarantee that. It might be Sunday. Keep your eyes peeled for that. But yeah, you know, it's a really awesome bike. I'm pretty stoked about it. Spoiler alert, it's probably my favorite enduro bike out there, but maybe we'll talk about that later. But anyways, I excited to put that out. And yeah, I don't know. Anyways, without further ado, we're gonna hop right into things here. I'm gonna bring Joe in and get this thing started, get this party going.
Whoa, baby. Look, while you were monologuing right there, I did a quick live stream on Instagram to try and bring a few people over here. Who the hell knows what's going to happen when you jump in with a live stream that quick? We got to start off, instead of you asking me a question first, I've got to ask you a question, Rich. First ever live stream. What the hell took you so long?
That's just scary. You know, like, I don't know, hosting a live stream to me, it's not my bread and butter. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, it seems like for you, maybe you're, I don't know, maybe it's not easy for you either. I don't know. You seem like such a natural at it.
I'm a goddamn showman, Rich.
You know, it's just, yeah, I was going to do it at 10,000 subscribers and I dropped the ball. So, here we are. Luckily it was a lot faster getting to 20 than it was to 10. So everyone didn't have to wait another 3 years, but yeah, here we are.
I will say the benefit is one of the things I've been a strong proponent for the live stream stuff is one, it is challenging when you first start because you got to get the tech right. You got to make sure everything works. You got to do a lot of legwork to get to this point. But I've always been a huge fan of it because it is an opportunity to real time interact with I want to say the true fans of the channel, but the people that really are willing to jump into a live stream tend to be the people that really dig the channel. And the more you do it, the more they jump in and you can real time conversation with them. That's one of the things that YouTube's isn't, their specialty is not real time interaction, right? It's generally like somebody leaves a comment on a video and then you comment back, and that's really the extent of it. Whereas like a live stream is a real time, like ask me questions, that sort of stuff. I've always been a big fan of that. So I'm stoked you're doing one. Your first one, hopefully the first of many, Rich.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here, Joe. I'm stoked to have you joining me on this live stream. And yeah, I've watched so many of your live streams. So you've been a little source of inspiration for me. Yeah, I'm excited for the evening and excited to connect. Like that's something honestly I've wanted to do for a long time. It's been missing for me, that piece of being able to just like hang out with everyone who's like a fan of the channel and wants to actually come hang out on a Friday night. It's 9 p.m. here on the East Coast. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I'm not gonna lie, like I go to bed early. Joe.
I know.
Like, there's a lot of times that
when you said that time, I was like, oh man, that's late.
Yeah, there's a lot of times I'm watching your live streams and I'm like literally sitting in bed, just like typing in the chat, half asleep, and I'm like, oh, I probably just should go to bed at this point. But
little did I know, like the major benefit of living on the West Coast was like our timing for everything is better because, like, for example, like when I used to watch football, like I'd wake up at 10 o'clock, a game would start on the East Coast. They got to wait till like 1 o'clock. I didn't even think about it. Like it wasn't even in the back of my mind. So it's like I've totally been spoiled. I forget about East Coast time sometimes. So I apologize everybody for making them do it so late. It's my fault.
Hey, it was my choice. You can blame me. I'll take the blame. But yeah, no, so I'm like really psyched that like I've got this crew of folks that are like all over the country now that watch the channel and all over the world. And so I wanted to I chose 9 p.m. so that everybody could join and be a part of this. Yeah.
I think sometimes it's surprising when somebody's like, hey, from India. You're like, what? How did you find me, first of all? And how do you tolerate me? Like, that's like, it's so interesting. Yeah. When people jump in, but that's one of the side effects of some of the stuff we do, right? When you're in YouTube and you're doing content creation on like a global scale, it's not just local anymore. So it's like the tip videos you've done on like suspension setup, like everybody across the world has seen that stuff. It's like, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
It's weird and awesome. It is so freaking cool. Like, how cool is that? But it takes some getting used to.
So what's going to happen? Like, okay, how many local events have you gone to that do you get recognized at all the local events? Is that what happens? I'm going to build you up a little bit here, Rich.
Yeah. I kind of, I would say that I've frequent enough places that enough people I've gotten to know people. Like, yeah, I've met a lot of people who have approached me, who've just watched the channel, but now like, I remember them, like we see each other more and more often. And like, I have all these familiar faces now that like people I've actually met and gotten to see on a regular basis and had that icebreaker that they watch the channel and appreciate it. And it's freaking awesome.
The mistake people make is when they do recognize me and they tell me they like the channel, I talk their ear off for 20 minutes, Rich. I just won't let them go. I tell them in a previous live stream, I hold them hostage. I'm like, they're like, hey, like your videos, and they're like about to take off. I'm like, you want to know the backstory behind all of them? And then I just like, that's what they get when they run into me. So anybody that sees this at Sedona, just expect it. Like I'm going to have no voice left by the end of Sedona, guaranteed. I'm
probably guilty of that myself.
Yeah.
People sometimes I bet people get a little more than they bargain for when they say hi. But I just, it's fun. I like, as I said in the intro, sometimes I can be a little like, my like resting gaze can be like not stoic, but kind of just I don't look approachable.
you're formulating in the background. Yeah.
I'm just thinking, and I don't mean to be that way because I'm always like I'm usually pretty psyched to be out on my bike out in the woods. Like how can you not be?
Yep.
And
Now,
so,
the benefit is like your content, the content you do is much more professional and much more intelligent. Like, so when you're like, you can have that stoic face because people are like, man, he's just thinking in the background. He's probably thinking about setting up his suspension right now. And I'm trying to talk to him, but I understand he's on another level. Like, that's probably what's going through their head. And when people go like talk to me, they're like, this guy's an idiot, you know, like he's got nothing going on. So there's two levels of it, you know?
yeah, my wife's down in the comments right now. She says, "You've got nothing on my RBF," and that's probably honestly true. But yeah, so between the two of us, it's probably double trouble.
As a side note, you were recently married, like within the last couple months. Or has it been longer than I think now? It wasn't that long ago that you got married.
September.
Wow. How's married life so far? She's in chat, by the way, just so you're aware.
Yes. She's listening. No, yeah. It's genuinely awesome. You know, I it's something that I kind of dragged my feet on, but by the time I knew, I freaking knew. You know, I was like, when I proposed, I was just ready to do it. I was like, let's just get married now. Like, I'm ready. Like, there's no. She was like, do we do it in like 2024? And I'm like, why don't we just get the first date we can at this venue we want to have it at?
Yeah.
And just do the thing, because I'm pumped. I'm ready. And ever since then, it's been awesome.
Well, the opposite of me. I was nervous to get married. I was nervous to have kids. I've just been a mess the whole damn time. But I've been married for like 30,000 years now. I told my wife. I don't know how long. It's been a while. It's been like 14 years. She might listen to this. I'm not completely sure the exact timeline here, but it's been a while.
I've seen where she comes out in the garage and like catches you talking about the cost of your bike parts and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, she's onto you.
Yeah, she's got a great mustache too. It's tricky when we kiss though, because they get intertwined. It's awkward. Yeah.
It's like Lady and the Tramp with the noodle tube, so just mustache.
It is true. It is true.
I don't want to think about that.
Good call. Yeah, we'll change subject quickly. Yeah.
Oh man, so Joe, I was watching your video talking about good awkward subjects here. I was watching your last Instagram reel. Is that what we call it? We call it an Instagram.
I think it's a reel. Yeah, it's hard to say because it goes on all three platforms. So on YouTube, it's a short. On Instagram, it's a reel, and on TikTok, I think it's just a TikTok. I don't know.
It is on YouTube. Watch the content on all three platforms is what you're saying right now.
God. Yeah, who knows? Like, if it's one thing we've learned that like the content doesn't, like, people from Instagram don't go to YouTube and YouTube does. It's just like it's never cross connects. So who knows? One video might do well on one platform and might do crap on another. We just throw it out in the ether and hope people like it is all we do, don't we?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think the shorts format is like magnified on that, right? Like, it's just a totally different beast. Because you've just got, you're going into a feed, right, where just people are just scrolling through super fast, and just digesting content quickly, and you're actually delivering something, in my opinion, that has a different value than a lot of what I see coming through reels.
Yeah, because most videos, like, so we're not going to talk about this too long, ladies and gentlemen, because we'll lose you guys real fast with too much technical talk. But the whole social media platforms in general are designed to be based off of like trending audio and emulating others. So the fact that there are a few of us creating original content for that, it's the harder way to go, certainly. But it's something that I enjoy doing. I always have. So like working harder to make stuff that maybe will get less views, but is higher quality and like is an original piece of content. It definitely takes work, but I appreciate it. I still like the process, so it does wildly well. One thing that I think is interesting about social media versus YouTube is, like, for example, when you're on your phone, it's so easy to share something. Like, that's you. Boom, they send it. You can tag somebody. It's so designed for all your friends and everybody to just share it and move it around, and like that happens quickly. Whereas on YouTube, it's a little trickier. Most people don't really do it that way. So the long forms are a lot harder to like really succeed at, and which is what you've done. I mean, it's so like seeing the long forms be wildly successful and have great traction. It's so hard to do that. But again, in chat, like, I don't want to bore you guys too long with the technical details. By the way, if you guys are in chat, this is a great opportunity to ask questions, because Rich has hit 20,000 subscribers, and him and I both started the channels at similar times, about like 3 years, right? 3 years now, you say?
Yeah. Well, so 1 year ago, you and I were both at like 4,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna, I hope I don't throw you under the bus here, but I remember very specifically a year ago, you being pretty distraught. Like, you were like, do I really want to keep doing this? And I was like, man, Joe, like you've got a gift, and I would hate to see that not connect. And here came shorts, this totally new realm of things, and it was perfect for what you do. And you utilize it in a way that is super positive, super fun. And like you watch so many of these shorts and you're just like, man, there's just like this quick little dopamine hit.
Yeah.
Like kind of like this silly little, oh, that looks pretty, and it has this like trending audio, and poof, it's gone. But like I'll I'm not just trying to blow smoke, but I'll watch your reels.
I'll take it.
And I'll watch your reels, and I feel like I get more than like a 59-second, or like honestly, a lot of those are not even hitting 59 seconds.
Yeah,
but
I stick around long enough
like,
to tell the joke, and I get out. That's the lesson.
Yes, but I love the jokes; they're so good.
Yeah.
Like back to what I was going to say about the what was it? The mating, like.
Yeah,
you were rutting in the parking lot at the trailhead with BKXC.
Yeah, the premise of the premise is simple. I was like, what happens with, like, it just popped in my head. I think I was out on a ride the other day, and I was like, what, mountain bikers in spring? It was like finally beautiful outside. Like the weather was perfect, and I was like, it's kind of like I felt a bit like coming out of hibernation, where we had a bunch of rainy days. It was cold, and it was just finally this warm day, and I felt like these rays of sunshine on me. And so I just got on my phone and made a note: mountain bikers coming out of hibernation. And I had to flesh that idea out, like right where it was like, what does that mean, and what's the joke? And I like immediately as I thought about it, and I was talking with Brian, I was like, my idea is like a David Attenborough like style documentary, where it's like, here we have a mountain biker coming out of hibernation, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Doing the voiceovers and everything. And Brian was on board. He puts up with my hijinks. I think I commented somewhere. I told Brian, I was like, look, I'm going to unsubscribe from your channel if you don't make this with me. All right. So
you got a threat. You got to put the threat. He's worried about that one subscriber. Right.
I know.
There.
He really is. I know he is on the bottom of his heart. Yeah.
Like,
now, like,
I could
It's funny you talk about the burnout stuff, because like, or not the burnout stuff, but like really what was happening is I was doing very elaborate long form videos. And like, I think I was getting a little bit distraught on that because I didn't see a return on it. Meaning like, and a lot of that boils down to me not making the right thumbnail and title, something you're excellent at. I was just not good at it. I knew how to make a funny and entertaining video, but it wasn't. Anyways, so at that point, like when you put 30 hours into editing a video, of course, when you put it out and nobody watches it, after a certain amount of times that happens, you're like, and I was gaining good traction, but I was just like frustrated. And so, yeah, the short form content came in at the right time, man. It really kind of revamped my creativity of executing in a different way, and it's been a lot of fun. And then I can use those skills to translate back into long form very, very soon. So it's been cool, man. It really is.
I love the long form content that you did. Like it's incredible. It's like it's just engaging and different and super entertaining. If you want to see about a place and like just be like entertained the whole time, you do it. So hopefully it'll translate back over.
The best part is, as far as I'm concerned, for you,
I've seen you do that. You've definitely had some longer videos doing well.
Yeah, and it's totally possible. Now that I'm better at making thumbnails and titles, one thing that's interesting is there's no wrong answer. It's our channels. We could do whatever we want. We can make all the kind of content that we want, and that's the funnest part. Sometimes, like, we forget that, and we think that we need to cater to everybody and, like, make the thing that will do the most widely successful, because that's what will prove to us that we are good at what we do. But the truth of the matter is, and I've discovered this, that I make plenty of videos that I know won't do well, but I just want to make them because I think it's funny. Like that mating ritual one, I made that thinking nobody would care. Like I just had to make it. Like I thought it was funny. And
hilarious.
So there's certain videos that I do that are like, when the 4 different types of mountain bikers crossing a stream or something, I had a feeling that would do well because those are shareable. Yeah. Those are like, hey, that's me. I'm the forwarder. I'm the sender. Like people like that stuff. And then there's the weird videos that I make like this one. And it's just like, I don't know. I just like making them. So that's been nice. Like we have creative freedom to make, and they don't all have to be mega hits. Sometimes they could be your creative vision, and sometimes they could be, something that you think will be commercially successful. So I think there's a mix of both. And again, the benefit is these are our channels, Rich. We can do whatever the hell we want.
Yes. Amen. Hey, we've got a couple comments here.
Oh yeah. Bring them up.
So, hey, all right, you guys got to bear with me. I've never brought one up here before. Okay. First one I'm bringing up here. Okay, this is a buddy of mine, Ken. And so I got to talk about this real quick because the Grand is the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
So not everybody knows this, but I participate in multiple sports: a mountain bike, a rock climb, and whitewater canoeing.
Oh wow,
We'll
really?
let's just call it kayaking.
Okay, fair enough.
Whitewater canoeing. Basically, it's just like a kayak. Just think of it as a kayak. Do all the same rivers as a whitewater kayak. And so Ken is a good buddy of mine from the whitewater world. He also mountain bikes. I think he does some climbing as well. He's a man of many. He is a Renaissance man. Actually, we'll get into that.
He
later,
does it all. He does it all.
He does it all. Yeah. He makes
Where's
right
his
now,
YouTube channel? I want to watch it.
Ken Creates. Check it out.
Okay.
Honestly, there it is.
Oh,
Check
is it really?
out.
I'll check it out.
He does some awesome stuff. But these days he builds props.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he does some crazy. I just saw like a little shop of horror ones the other day, and something I think was probably going to become R2D2. Anyways, so
I watched,
cool
as a
stuff.
side note, we're going to get distracted. This is what happens when you talk with me.
I'm off on a tangent already, Joe.
I know, that's what we do. It's fine. Keep asking questions in chat, guys. We'll catch up. So, like, the Little Shop of Horrors, I watched again recently. I remember watching it as not a kid, but like younger. Like, I was younger and I watched it. And at the time, I liked it. And I don't know why, because I watched it again as an adult and I was watching, I'm like, this is insanely weird. And I still really like it. There's something like about that movie, of course, based on a play, but with Steve Martin and all these other characters, that it's just bonkers, but it's still good. I don't know why I liked it as a kid, because watching it as an adult, I'm like, this is weird, but I remember liking it. I don't know.
There's a lot of old movies like that. You watch as an adult and you're like, wow, I watched that as a kid.
Yeah.
No wonder I am the way I am. Right.
Yeah.
But so back to Ken's thing here. So Allie and I both got invited to go to the Grand Canyon, and turned out that was our date for the wedding, which was a double. That was like maybe the one bummer about the wedding, because not only did we not get to go to the Grand Canyon with all of our friends, but that whole group of friends all went to the Grand Canyon and couldn't come to the wedding.
Jeez, you guys just blew it.
Yeah, we blew it, but.
Either that or it was a very elaborate scheme to just get that one friend that we're not going to name, this one friend that you didn't like, to not come to the wedding. Maybe that was the behind. We're not going to talk about it. Ken, you're probably not that friend. I'm not going to say that you are, but we're going to, maybe that was it. Or it could have just been, it was just a coincidence. I don't know.
Coincidence, total coincidence.
Okay. All right.
All right. So let's see what we got here. Ken already left. He's about to scroll on to Korean street food.
Ooh.
I think that was when we were talking about all the reels and the scroll and everything. But let's see what we got here. I think we had some questions. Oh, hopefully I'm pronouncing this right. Issei?
That sounds right to me. He'll correct us.
Yes. So he asked me a couple questions. He asked, what grease do I use for my bikes? Then he asked, how do I grow my beard so good? And then it turned into Muck Off brand beard oil.
Not a bad idea.
I don't know. I don't know how I grow the beard this well. It just it happens on its own. Woke up one day and it was there. No beard oil though. I
used to have a glorious beard, and then now I got a mustache. So
it's a glorious freaking mustache.
It's so on brand. I literally had somebody at work, by the way, who's like, they walked in. It was in the kitchen. I was like washing one of my mugs or something, and like two people came in. They're like, "You got an amazing mustache." I'm like, "Thanks." And they're like, I've tried to grow a mustache, but it doesn't look that good. I'm like, okay, this is close to sexual harassment now. Let's just back it up. All right, take 2 steps back and get the hell out of here. Like, so yeah, it was weird.
Very, very awkward. Oh man.
I'm used to it.
So yeah. MTB Daily Rider, multiple sports. How could you unsubscribe? I think you are the biggest channel subscribed to me.
Damn it. Josh is a purist. We all know this. Josh is an absolute purist and a physical fitness guru. He runs like 18 miles an hour. Like
what?
He runs triathlons like twice a day, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Sorry. Yeah, I remember him talking about that.
Yeah.
A man of many talents.
He does it all. He does it all.
He does it all. All right. Let's see what we got here. I think we're all caught up.
Oh, Sean's got a good question down below. He said, what's the backstory for starting the channel? I'm assuming he's referring to you, but we could probably both answer it. But you started off. That's a good question.
Backstory for the channel. That's a good question. Yeah, so, well, there's a backstory to the name for the channel, and then a backstory to the channel itself.
Okay.
And I'll start off with the name. The name actually came from Whitewater, and it was born on a week in which we were all like hanging out up in on the upper Youghiogheny River, and I had some Canadian friends down, and we were just kind of joking around, and somehow we were talking about, you know, why be Sendy when you could just be Semi-Sendy and have a good
Mm-hmm.
time and not take things too seriously. And became a sticker there for a little while. They made some stickers out of it, and then I grabbed it back for the channel, took it and claimed it for the channel because it works. I think for mountain biking, you've got you know, I think mountain biking is many different things to many different people, and for some people, it's like a very intense kind of like identity of who you are. But I think, and it is, I think, for everyone to an extent. But I also think it's good to not take it too seriously, have a good time, and just know why. Like, I think the real reason we're all out there is just to be able to be outside, getting some fresh air. Maybe it's for the social aspect, maybe it's for the personal challenge. But at the end of the day, you know, I think it's just all about like, you know, being God, I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah, I would say like right along the same vein, like mountain biking or whatever else. There's no wrong answer there either, right? Like if you
Yeah.
like, you know, being hardcore as hardcore can be, there's nothing wrong with that. And then there's plenty of people that are on my spectrum, which are just average riders that like being out on the trail. And like, you know, I don't have any problem. I like the way that the different way people enjoy bikes, you know, so it's kind of rad. You ride so good that I proposed that you should just change the name to Full Sendy because you're so good, but you were adamant about just keeping it Semi-Sendy. I was like, fair enough. Fair enough.
Perspective.
So
Go
then
out to
why'd you want to start the channel then? If so, you got the name, and then what was
Oh,
like?
yeah, so
why I gotta start a YouTube channel? Why?
I honestly, I just needed to do something different, and it was the beginning of the pandemic, and I was sitting at home and didn't have a lot to do. Breaks had gotten, you know, they gotten put on life in general, and wasn't doing any other film stuff. Everything was put on hold, and I figured I'd find a new challenge, something that was something I'd never done before, and something that was out of my comfort zone.
Now you've got a bit of a background in video production stuff, don't you? Like, which is because, like, okay, let me give you a backstory on this too, guys in chat. Like, so when we both started our channels, like mine was like still gaining ground, and then like my first video is awful. His first video is like immaculate. Like I remember this specifically. I'm like, who the hell is this guy, huh? Like taking personal competition like offense to this. Like, like I was like, he's really good at this, and I always took that like as a competitive inspiration to a certain degree because you're like, well, this guy's doing so well. I got to up my game. You know, I always like those positive like pushes towards improvement. Like all those things help me develop. It's part of my personality too. When I see someone like, no, he's not going to do it better than me. You know, like, so like that, like, I remember that. I was like, who is this guy? Like, and like we, you know, quickly became friends because I think I reached out and stuff, but it's like so funny that like, yeah, you were right out of the gate making pretty great production value videos. So you got a little background in video production, don't you?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I got into just the world of photography at a young age, and you know, my dad was kind of into it, and I just remember it was like, you know, there's all those things like when you're a kid. Well, for a lot of us, like as a kid, there's like things that your parents have that you're like fascinated with, and
Yeah.
you know, for a lot of us young guys, like our dad's tools or like whatever, some cool thing that he has that you like look up to, you know, it's like kind of how you look up to him, right?
Yeah.
And like you know, like whether it's you're looking up to your mother, your father, whatever. And for my dad, it was this camera that he had that I was totally enamored with. It was an old Nickermac camera. I have it actually upstairs in my office now. He passed it down to me. And I was just super fascinated by it. I don't know why, Joe. I don't know why. It wasn't even like, it just looked cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just as a young kid, it looked cool.
You just gravitate towards it. Yeah.
Yeah. It was something he was into. So I was interested in it. And as I got older, in high school, I started learning how to learn my way around a dark room and got into actually shooting with a film camera. And then, you know, as things escalated throughout time, I got into digital side of things, and eventually like wanted to take the still format and do motion pictures. I was really fascinated. I've always loved movies and films, and big like Wes Anderson and Guy Ritchie fan, and just love the whole cinematic world and whatnot. And eventually, you know, things got to the point where you could like actually afford, you know, without going to film school and being somehow exposed to these things in a professional setting, you could afford to start getting some decent equipment and playing with it at home and teaching yourself and learning things. And
just as long as you're not overexposed to it, because it's a photography joke.
You're so funny. Yeah, you know, it's like, but yeah, so there was a background to it, and then YouTube was something that was totally foreign to me.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting.
I had a buddy at the time that.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I just had a buddy at the time who was pushing me to get in front of the camera instead of being behind the camera all the time. I thought I would kind of suck at it, and honestly, I still think I kind of suck at it. But obviously, some other people like it, so I do it, and I try to have a good time with it. And
anything is a trainable skill, man. Like the more you do something, you're gonna get better at it, no matter what it is, no matter how much you sucked at it when you started or whatever. I'm not saying you sucked, Rich, but what I'm saying is, the more you do something, no matter who you are, like you're gonna get better. You don't have no choice but to get better, unless you're just lazy. Like so, yeah, it's.
Sometimes I'm lazy. I'll be honest.
Aren't we all?
I don't know if it's. Yeah, sometimes it's just, you know, you get analysis paralysis with stuff too. You kind of just you overthink things a little bit. You just kind of gotta let it go and just put stuff out there. You know, like everything doesn't have to be perfect. You just gotta like say, all right, you know what? I did the best I can. I'm gonna put it out there to the world and deal with all the trolls in the comments. And
yeah, you certainly, I think you certainly, the nature of your content, you'll attract far more trolls. I mean, I get them because they just call me an idiot, but I'm used to that. I already make fun of myself. So like, what can you say to me that's going to offend me? But like, you're actually making like usable content. And like, sometimes people will just want to argue the smallest thing. Like if you say the angle of something is wrong, like they'll come at you for giving a 0.5 degree off angle on something. Like you're going to get that. And I'm sure you get a ton of it. Like luckily mine's just like, it's so dumb, the content, that it doesn't, like, I don't get the flack usually for it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's the advantage.
Yeah. You know, it comes with the turf, I guess. You got to expect it, right? If you want to reach a wider audience, like you're going to reach a wider range of people that have all sorts of thoughts and feelings on things, and they're more than welcome to share those things. You know, Joe, I have like one hard and fast rule. Like you can say whatever to me all day long, but I really want to have like, I really want people to feel like they can come watch my content and feel welcomed and feel like no matter where they are at their journey, their progression, or whatever it is in the sport, that they feel like they can be a part of the conversation and you know, ask for help and like and have support from the community. And so when I see other, like the one thing I really dislike about how YouTube allows creators to see things is like I don't get notifications when somebody replies to somebody else.
Oh yeah, you're right. And
it's already difficult to keep up with the comments section. And then when the fact that like I don't see when somebody's commenting to someone else, and that's usually when the stuff happens that I would rather be privy to, is when somebody is being disrespectful to somebody else who's just trying to ask an innocent, honest question. So I try to I periodically try to go through things and see if that's happening, but I can't police it all the time. And that's an unfortunate thing that
all we can do is the best we can do. Like in a video once, I said that I said the top tube versus the head tube or whatever. Oh, I got eaten alive, but I just counted it as like pure. I call it engagement engaged, because like people leave more comments and stuff. I'm like, okay, well I got more engagement. What are you gonna do? Like that's fine.
That's how I look at it too. Yeah, I leave it there. Hey, if you want to come and say something ridiculous and mean and dumb that makes you look like really silly, and you want that permanently on the internet, and you want to put it in the comment section, I'll leave it there. Everyone else can read it and make up their own decision. You know, sometimes I love it when you know, people who like subscribers that like will reply for me, or on behalf of the community, and just say like, hey, like, you're being a jerk and whatever. But it's the vocal minority that do that.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Like we have such a cool, well, we have such a cool community of people, and I feel lucky to be a part of that in this way. I feel like lucky to try to bring some positivity towards it. I think that's something that that people kind of lose sight of with content creation, is the amount of positivity that comes out of it. Because a lot of times it's just everyday people connecting with everyday people. It's just the community having a discussion, and that's rad. That's super cool, right? Like that's like there's nobody who decides whether we get to do that on YouTube or not. Like, you just create the video and put it out there, and people are gonna, they're gonna click on it, watch it, or they're not. That's it.
Yeah, they're gonna dig it or they're not, and if they don't, they'll let you know about it. Wobbles423 had a good question, and I thought this was interesting. He says, question for each of you: what got you into MTB, and how was your riding style changed since you started?
Yeah, take it, Joe.
All right, first thing, what got me into riding? I've told the story before. BKXC did. I'm sure that he's gotten innumerable people into mountain biking. So I'm going to name drop here once again, like I do on every live stream. But he and I went to school together. We grew up together. And so when I found out that he had his mountain biking YouTube channel, I logged in. I started watching religiously. I was just so fascinated by what he was doing. I didn't even mountain bike at the time. Like, I was just watching the videos. And you come to that slow realization, as always, like the message is always like, you can do this. Like, you can go ride your bike around the world. You can do whatever you want. And so it took me a while, but I got a bike and I got involved. I remember when I bought the bike, I didn't even know that the bike needed pedals. The guy's like, I bought it used in a parking lot, and the guy's like, oh, there's no pedals on it. I was like, can I buy the pedals from you? Like, I don't know how this works. Like, and so
you're very confused why there's no pedals coming on.
Yeah, no clue what's going on. So I go on my first ride, and Brian was like, where should I go for my first ride? He sends me up to Tahoe, which is at 6,000 something elevation. I'm like just almost dying on the climb. But once I saw the first view, I was hooked. I was like, this is amazing. Way over my skill level when I rode that trail. But it was just fascinating to me. I really got hooked right off the bat. And as a result, like as I progressed over the course of years, I've gotten a lot better at riding tech. Jumps, still not great at doing jumps. We just don't have a lot of places to practice on normal trails. I have to go to like a bike park to ride jumps. And I'd rather go ride the trails than like go to a bike park in session most of the time with the limited time frame that I have. But the technical chunk has been like the thing that I've gravitated more towards more than anything. Like, I love like those really gnarly trails that are super challenging, and just like that's been the best. When going to Whistler and riding some of the Devil Black stuff out there and being able to conquer the majority of it has been, that's cool. Again, think about where you started, where you like could barely do a rock roll. Like, I remember looking at early rock rolls and you're like this tall off the ground, and it's just terrifying. And now like I'm just looking down and like, all right, I could do that. I've done it before. So Sedona is like a great example. When we go to Sedona, it's rock roll city. You're just going to be in heaven. It's the best. It's so good.
I'm nervous about that.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
I've never been to Sedona. So
yeah, it's technical as hell. You're going to love it. You're such a good rider, though. You won't have a problem with any of this stuff.
I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm pretty conservative. And like, my number one goal in riding every day is to ride the next day. So sometimes I see stuff and I'm like, I just don't know if like,
I've seen your race videos where it's like, I don't even see a trail. All I see is mud. And if you can ride through that, then you can survive Sedona, which is grippy rock. Like, I think you'll be fine. Cool. Okay, so what got you into riding then? Why am I always pointing the wrong direction?
Before we...
Yeah.
I don't know. Before we get to that, what was that first trail in Tahoe?
It was Armstrong to Lower Coral. I still say Coral. It's supposed to be Corral, but I always said Coral. It doesn't. Now, when you think about it, why was I saying Coral when it's in Tahoe? There's no ocean there. But when I first rode the trail, I was like, Coral. Everybody's like, it's Corral, right? And I was like, that makes a lot more sense. But it's so ingrained in me, like I instinctually say
just keep
Coral.
saying it.
But yeah, it was Armstrong to Lower Coral. So you go up, you get up to there, and you ride this Armstrong section in Lower Coral. It's got like it turns into this flowy, jumpy stuff at the very end. It's like, think of like elevation, exposure, chunk, speed. Then you come into a flow trail with like it's this whole like medley of different styles of riding in one trail. And realistically, like it was a good trail to ride as my first trail because it had a little bit of everything. And like, so it was a wild adventure. I damn near threw up on the climb, but yeah, it was fine. It was fine at the end of it. And I've since ridden like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is one of my favorite rides in Tahoe.
Ooh.
Very technical,
Yeah.
very gnarly, but it's just it's a vibe, man. I like that trail a lot. It's one of my favorites too.
I'll have to check it out. Mr.
You got to come up here. We'll
Toads,
show
too.
you around. Robert knows Tahoe a lot too, so there you go.
Yeah, I got over there for like a half a day, but we just went to the park. We went to North Star.
Oh yeah.
That's north, right? North.
Yep.
Yeah,
North Star's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So what got you into riding? Wait, I'm still pointing the wrong direction. Damn it. This way. No, it's why it's opposite. I don't know why. Anyways, what got you into riding, Rich? And like now, like what, and secondarily, once you answer that, what got you into racing? I'm curious. That's my question.
Okay. So I got into riding just naturally as a kid. My first bike that I ever took off road was a Schwinn Frontier. It was just like a super old, harsh, heavy, chromoly, rigid bike. It was an ATB. You know what that stands for?
No.
All-terrain bike. not an MTB.
Yeah.
And then literally at some point in the year following that, I had friends that got the Schwinn Moab, which was an MTB.
Can we talk about for a second?
I was very jealous.
the phrase MTB doesn't make sense to me, because if you're saying mountain bike, like you can't, 10 is not a T. That's not like, is that what it actually means? Mountain bike with an MTB? Yeah. Or am I, that doesn't make sense. Who made this up? It should be MB.
I could be wrong. Yeah.
It should be MB. Like, oh yeah. Every channel should have like just MB on it instead of MTB. It should be Daily MB Rider, not MTB Rider.
MB is probably some other acronym for something else. And so as a lower, as an off-tier thing, I guess.
Fair enough. I'm going to go find
the origin. Who came up with that.
Yeah. I'm tasking Josh with doing the research for this, but I'd love to hear a story of like where MTB came from. All
right, Josh, you've got your
you got your task
ahead of you.
Wait, so okay, what got you into racing then? You get your first bike, and then you're slumming it. You're working away. You're surviving, is how I would describe riding a trail with that bike. You graduated to something bigger. Tell us the story.
Racing? I don't know. I've never been a very competitive person, to be honest with you. And so I played sports growing up. I played soccer and was probably my main sport. I played other tertiary stuff that everybody gets thrown into at whatever age. But soccer was kind of the one I played for a while that was more serious about. And then, but climbing, rock climbing and riding my bike, mountain biking, riding it off road was always my two core things growing up. And I loved them because they were individual challenges. I was never competing against anyone else directly. And so I did start doing a little bit of racing in my 20s, like head-to-head type racing, where I was doing a few XC races. Didn't really like it at all. I really, really suck at just like going hard off the start line for like an hour. But I stumbled into, I wanted to challenge myself with something really big. And so I signed up for the Shenandoah Mountain 100. And this is a 100-mile mountain bike race.
Oh.
13,000 feet of elevation.
Oh.
It's on these trails that border, they're all in Virginia, but it borders right on West Virginia. Like the top mountain line actually is Shenandoah Mountain, and that creates basically the edge of the state line to West Virginia. And it's I'm gonna get it wrong, but Shenandoah Mountain is something like one of the longest continuous mountain ridge lines in existence. It's just ancient and not huge anymore. It's weathered down, but still considerable. And like 13,000 feet of elevation in that 100-mile race is no joke. So I just did it as like a personal challenge. And it turned out that format of endurance racing fit me pretty well. And it continued to just be a personal challenge, but I started putting down better and better times, and got really into it. Honestly, a little obsessively into it. Probably wasn't the healthiest thing in the world.
Yeah.
I think people that get into endurance stuff, like it kind of consumes your life. Like the training for it and whatnot. I don't know, like I'll do big days, or what I think is a big day now. and think that I've got some decent fitness, and then I'll think back on how, like, no, it just doesn't touch where I was at.
No, dear God, no. I did a 30-mile
Yeah.
race or thereabouts in Prescott, and I almost died. Like I would like thought I was gonna die. Like by the time I finally got off the trail, I was like, whew, I survived. Like, you know, but I also went in with no training at all, and so yeah, that, you know, apparently you have to like get on a trainer for at least a little bit.
Apparently, you have to spend some time doing it. Prepping, you know,
Yeah.
something funny about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't just drink a lot of water and get through it.
Who knew?
Although a lot of water helps.
Dude, my experience with this race,
Hydration
by
is
the way,
key.
I had no clue. Like, basically, the first aid station, I just stopped and started snacking, and they're like, "You're supposed to keep going." I was like, "Oh, I just want to hang out. Okay, I guess I'll keep going then." But I was sitting there
You
like
thought that
eating
was the
donuts, bacon. I'm like, I was like, "Do you have a plate that I could just eat? Like, is there a table I can sit down at?" They're like, "That's not what you do. You just eat it and go." I was like, "What?" So yeah, that's the
You
the
thought you were
first
at
and
the
last.
after party already.
Yeah, I was like, "We're almost done."
Joe's
Oh.
changing. He's like taking his shoes off and like stretching and just.
My God,
Yeah.
I'll go on record as saying that's the most times pickles have been shoved in my face in my entire life. I'll just say it right out front. All right, yeah, it was apparently it prevents cramping, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know that, but yeah, it's a lot of people are shoving
Apparently.
pickles in my face
Allegedly, I wouldn't
before
know.
and after the race, because it's
Real talk. I hate pickles.
yeah, I like pickles a lot. It's just got to be the right pickle.
Can't do it. I like every other pickled vegetable out there, pretty much, but
Fair enough.
But I don't like cucumbers, and I don't like them in vinegar.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. All right, what do we
I'll
got
have to say
question-wise? Are we
otherwise.
reviewing more questions? What do we got here? There's a ton of people in here, by the way. This is rad.
I know.
Oh, Mountain Bike
Crazy.
Q&A's got a good one. I don't know if you spotted this. He says, do you feel any pressure to perform and put out all the time? And do you get self-conscious about anything you create? That's a great question.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
for it. You take
Yeah.
that one.
Yes and yes. Yeah, if you allow it, it can be a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I agree.
And honestly, I think the thing that's the toughest is when you have successful, like a video does really well. It's like you're like, how do I do that again? Or
Yeah.
how do I put something out that's still gonna be that engaging again? Especially if you're trying not to repeat things. I try really hard not to. I try to find unique topics or unique ways of looking at topics.
Yeah.
I try to go for something that maybe I haven't seen discussed in a certain way before. And that's challenging, man, because there's a lot of stuff on YouTube.
It is. It is. Like, you almost have to break from that a little bit because, again, your style is different than other
Yeah.
people's. So it's like realizing you can cover the same topic. Your video is going to be different than theirs. So it's like totally okay.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. And that's totally a self-imposed thing that, Joe, Trail Features, talks about the importance of peer review and having different perspectives on the same topic, and how it's important for there to be like a voice of all these different perspectives, because like I said earlier, mountain biking's many different things and many different people, and we're all coming from a different place, and there's some things I'm going to say that might resonate with someone and not somebody else, but somebody else might gel more with that group of people or whatever it is. It's just, it is important. It's important for a lot of people to take their own spin on things and share that with the world. I mean, I think that's really why YouTube exists.
And it's interesting as creators because, like, neither of us is doing this full time as far as I know. So it's not like we are dependent on the money that comes in from YouTube revenue or ad stuff or whatever it is. But there's that internal pressure. Like, I feel this constantly where it's like, I haven't released a video in a couple days or whatever. Short form's a little different than long form, right? So like, you feel that a little bit of like backwards guilt if something, like if you haven't released a video in a while, like a part of you can't be happy. Like, you can't like enjoy what you're doing because you're like, man, I got to get something out. I got to get something out. Like, for no reason other than like to get something out. Like, there seems to always be that background pressure that is internally created. It doesn't seem like anybody's putting that pressure on us. It seems like it's something that, as you get more and more involved into it, it's just something you can't avoid. I don't know. I have to assume that you feel the same way.
I do. And I'm glad you brought that up, because some of the videos I've put out have come from those moments where I've said, you know what, I'm just going to I'm just going to have a discussion about something. I'm just going to take something that maybe I was uncomfortable talking about, or I was nervous to put out there to the world, and I'm going to talk about that. And those have been some really, people have really received those well. They've been good topics to put out there. They've been conversation starters, and I need to trust that more, you know, and go with that a little bit more. And I'm trying to, something I really thought about a lot recently is I kind of want to get to a point where I can just maybe pick up the camera and not like, just kind of maybe like, I hate to say vlog style, but a little bit more candid, just kind of like talk about a topic. I've been thinking about that the past few weeks, because the last month I had to kind of put everything aside for a little bit because I was feeling a little bit of that burnout. And I don't want to burn out from this. I want to continue to do this for a long time and be a part of this community and exist the way I've been existing. And I want to do it in a sustainable way. And so I try to identify those times where I'm being like hard on myself, say, hey, I don't have a deadline for anything. Like, I am trying to put videos out every couple weeks because that's what YouTube tells you to do. You know, like, well, they don't tell you to do that. That's what people who tell you, what people who think they know what you should do.
There's no right answer, because you could be off
There's
for
no
a
right
while.
answer. Yeah.
You make a banger of a video with a thumbnail and title that just clicks, there goes your millions of views. It doesn't matter if you've been consistent or not. Like, it really, if you've got the right one, it'll send. Like, people will watch it. So yeah, totally, exactly right. Allegedly. Yeah, it's definitely, there's always pressure, and it's internal pressure to create stuff, and it's like, it's just something that we always feel as creators, and it's sometimes good, it's sometimes bad. Sometimes some great videos come out of that pressure and that molding. And I've listened to something recently, Van Neistat, which is Casey Neistat's brother, put out a video about creative people, and one of the premises with the video was like, everybody. So there's a couple people, one that are dabbling and people that are really just committed to the creative element of things. And so the people that are just dabbling, they'll kind of like, they'll get an idea and they'll try to execute that idea. And as soon as they hit the wall, like, man, this isn't working. Like, I don't know, it was worth a shot. You know, that's where they end it. And they get a little bit of regret about the whole process. Like, man, I wasted time. I shouldn't even, like, I don't know. Like, those probably wouldn't. And then, you know what I mean? They get that. Whereas like the creative person like us that is kind of involved in this on a regular basis, and we've pushed through that, they will have the same process. They'll come up with an idea, and then they'll work their way up to this wall, and we know the wall's coming. So we're familiar with the process. We've done it a million times before. And so instead of stopping, we go, okay, well, that didn't work. Like, what if I did this instead? And then you eventually find a way to get over that wall, and you push through the idea, and then you finish filming. And the finished product may be different than the end goal that you anticipated, but the product is finished. You finished it, and maybe you have something that is slightly different or maybe totally different than what you first started with, but you've completed this project, and you're appreciative of the fact that you pushed through, you created, you made this thing. And I always thought it was really fascinating. Think about it, because it was like literally a couple days beforehand where I went out to go film a video. I had an idea for what I wanted to shoot, and then I like couldn't think of a way to make it funny enough. So I just went riding. I rode around, and the whole time I'm like, man, I don't even feel like filming. Like, I don't think this is good. And then I like over the course of this process, that was my wall, right? I was just like, man, I don't even feel it. I'm not feeling it. Like, went back to the truck, got the camera out, and I was like, wait a minute. Okay. Like, what if the angle was this? And so like, then I ended up filming. That was, the video I made that ended up getting like 60,000 something views. And that was like one of the first long forms I've been like to come back filming recently. And it was like, did really well. Like, I was like, oh man, like, but it took that process of like just pushing through and finding a way and like coming up with an alternative execution. And in the end idea was different than when I started, but I think it's a great video. It was like the top 5 things every mountain biker needs to know, whatever. Like one of them's like the shuttle driver, where it's like, hey, you got injured? You're the official shuttle driver from now on. Like, like it or not, like until you heal up. Like, so it's those things, it just came together. Like, and so that's something we deal with too. Yeah. It's a long explanation.
It'll be like a wall, and then all of a sudden it's just boom, there it is.
Yeah. So it's some of the things that we deal with as creators, like, is those little things like that. But yeah, it's like, this is a long-winded way to answer his question, but yes.
Yes. All right, we have got a couple questions here I want to catch up on real quick. We've got oh, here we go. Blue Ridge Bikes. Hey, Semi-Sendy, are you racing the Go Nuts Enduro at Jared's place this Sunday? That's literally like this Sunday. No, I'm not. I think this is Josh, and Josh, I don't want to race you. You crush me. No, honestly, I wanted to pull and answer this question because I'm actually not doing any racing anymore. My wife is. She raced all downhill Southeast last season, did the whole series, but I worked the whole series. I filmed. We did a race replay for the season, and I really enjoyed doing that. Honestly, Blue Ridge Bikes, I had an injury a little while back, and I thought I was like psyched and ready to go at the beginning of the season last year, and I started doing the Enduro Southeast series, and I was not into it. I did not want to push myself. I just couldn't turn it on. I just couldn't do it, and like I started getting in my head. I think it was the day we were out at V Hollow, and it got really dry and loose, and I was like, man, I just, I don't have the juice for it.
Yeah.
I knew when to call it, so I called it. And I picked up the camera.
Yeah, totally.
and started filming the action. So, yeah, no, I won't be there Sunday. Unfortunately, I know it's going to be an awesome event. Jared's is such a cool place, such a rad spot. Joe, if you ever come out here, I'll take you to Jared's. It's really unique venue. The whole Southeast is blowing up right now.
Yeah.
People don't know it. We're like I'm saying this like we're a city. We're like 4 pump tracks away from claiming ourselves as the mountain bike capital of the world. Sorry, I had to go.
I've heard about Jared's place. I followed him on IG when I heard about him, and then I talked to the guy who runs Go Nuts. What's his name?
Dave.
Squirrely
Dave.
Yeah, Squirrely, because I saw him in a Bobo video years back, and then for some reason he reached out to me or I reached out to him. So we were talking on IG for a little bit. He's like, dude, you got to come out here. I was like, I know. I need to have there's tons of places that I want to ride. So yeah, he's such a character, man. That guy, Squirrely Dave, is a maniac, dude. I love it.
Yeah. He's good buddies with Kevin, Steady Spin.
Oh yeah.
I
know Steady Spin.
Is at Burn Peak now, but there's a video if you go to Squirrely Dave's YouTube page. There's a video of him doing all the features at Burn Peak. Just going for it, man. Just going for the gusto. Like I
don't think I can hit. I don't think I can hit any of that stuff. Seth's a maniac.
Yes, he is. And Dave just went. He was full gusto out there. It was awesome to watch. Yeah,
I might have seen that. Didn't he crash? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But just goes right for it again. Dave is awesome, man. He's a good buddy of mine. The guy's just a vibrant guy. He's a lot of fun. Puts on a good event. It's got a good community going around that event. We've got a great racing scene in the Southeast. Yeah.
One of the things I dig is the explosion of mountain bike parks, like not obviously ski resort parks, but like the small parks like Burn Park and Jared's Place, and these little mountain bike play areas, like almost like, right? Like those things have been fascinating. We don't have a lot of that in California. We've got a place down in Southern California called Sky Park. It was amazing. It was like a little magical place for mountain bikes, and so like those little things are springing up with well-labeled trails, like, just sessionable places. Like there needs to be more of that. I'm a big fan of it, especially like just a concentrated zone to just go and session stuff, man. It's so cool. We don't have a lot of that. We've got some local bike parks, which are smaller, which are amazing. They're just jump parks, basically. But it's so cool. But like the idea of where you can just go ride trails and downhill and all that stuff, I like that those things are spreading. And not so much here yet, but like everywhere else, apparently.
Yeah. So MTB over 40, Ride Beeham. This is a good example of exactly what you're talking about. It's down in Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay.
And there's no shuttle. It's a bike park that is privately owned, privately maintained. You do have to pay to go.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you don't get a shuttle up, but the trails are high quality, and you can take an e-bike, if you want to self-shuttle it on an e-bike, or you can, pedal your bike up. The climbs are they're made to be pretty mellow. And but the trails are really, really good, really high quality. I haven't gotten down to ride Beeham yet, but that's like a newer example around here. But Canuga is like the big.
Oh yeah,
That's
I
the
see
one
Bobo
that
riding Canuga
people.
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, people know about that place. It's pretty rad. That's one that Dave Lamont and Nico Malali put together, and it's
Wow.
yeah, like when it came online, it was a unique spot and proved that it was a good model. And yeah, the trails are so cool, so high quality.
I will say the one disadvantage that I find is that in my personal riding experience, I tend to get bored riding the same things over and over again. Like that's the only downside. Like for example, I love going on adventure rides and seeing new stuff, but my local trails, I ride them so much, it doesn't excite me. I'm going out there to spin and get exercise, but you got to find those personal challenges on the trail. Like I go out to Granite Bay, which is really pretty nothing crazy out there, but they got rock rolls and stuff, and so I'll go practice on those and try different angles and stuff. But like, man, I love going out and discovering new stuff. So I definitely like need to plan some travel. Sedona is going to be a good one. There's a possible trip in Spain that's going to happen. So I'm hoping to get some good travel in this year and really kind of like that just like fills me up when I go on mountain bike trips and ride stuff I've never ridden before. It doesn't have to be gnarly or anything, but just like riding and seeing new things is like so nice. The Whistler trip was like that. You come back just like, yes. And then you go ride your local trails.
So
like,
jealous
no!
of that. So I still haven't been to Whistler. Can't wait to get up there. Allie and I are going for our honeymoon this year.
Oh,
so
nice.
It's happening.
Incredible. Yeah. It's so good,
Super
man.
Excited.
It's so good. And it's like not until you start like it feels like a basic bike park when you're down at the bottom, but as you start getting more and more reps in and riding more trails, it's just so dense out there. That's insane. It's so good.
Mm-hmm. You do a little sessioning at, here we go, Trail Pimp in the house.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time at Granite Bay. I've discovered that like there's a place where I can park my truck that's kind of in the back sections. So like I can park right next to the trail. So a lot of the filming I do is out there because like I got access to the trail right there. I can pull the camera right out of my truck, just angle the camera towards the trail and film. And my truck's right there. So I can film a lot of bits like that and then load it back in the truck and go ride for a little bit and just take off from there. So it's advantageous for me. It's probably one of the closest trail systems, but even then it's like 40 minutes from my house. So it's like, it's not the perfect thing, but it also means I don't need to like ride my camera in like I used to do back in the day. So I'd have to go ride the camera into a trail spot and then carry the camera back out. I don't have to do any of that. So that's nice. Granite Bay is super fun. People see me out there all the time because like I like to go ride around in session. I go to the beach and screw around because it's Folsom Lakes right there. So like when the water's low, there's tons of exposed granite and stuff. So you could just go ride down there and just start practicing trials moves on the granite and stuff. It's just, again, like I get distracted easily. So I'm not even riding the trails sometimes. I'm just out there screwing around. Like, just like people will never find me because I'm just like, who the hell would do that? I'm just out there doing it. So yeah, I explore, again, like I've ridden this trail a million times. So now I'm out on the beach, just playing around on the granite slabs. Who knows what's going to happen? That's part of the joy of like, again, the fact that I like that people find weird ways to use their bikes, and like there's no wrong answer. Like Brian and Single Track Sampler once took a trip down to downtown San Francisco and they rode across the Golden Gate Bridge. They went through San Francisco. They made an amazing video on it. They went to Chinatown and were picking up, like eating chicken feet. They were just going all around the city and exploring on their mountain bikes. And it was such a cool, like urban exploration video. I was like, why haven't I done that? Damn it. Like that would be a blast. I still have to do that one of these days.
Yeah. Pedaling hard and eating chicken feet.
Yeah. You can never have enough chicken feet.
Hey, this is, oh man, oh boy. There it is.
Josh figured it out. Josh figured it out. MT.
Has it hit yet?
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, okay, Josh, fair enough.
It's a great explanation. I'll take it.
Yeah, there was a response right before that, though, from Troy. Said mountain terrain bike. I like that one, too.
Mountain terrain bike. That's also usable. I could go with that as well.
Yeah, I go with that. I think Josh is right, though. I think we're just really, dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah,
There's been a lot of great comments here that I've missed. I'm kind of like picking back through them here.
This is something that I do on live streams. I tend to go back and rewatch them because I miss so many comments through the course, and it's fun to listen to see what people have to say, and we try to answer every question we can. But benefit is here, we get to talk real time. I dig it. Cody says, "Are you going to Sedona?" He is going to Sedona. I answer for you.
I am. Cody, what's up? Hopefully Cody's coming too. Cody's he's local here to Chattanooga.
So you haven't been to Sedona at all, Rich?
HandUp Gloves, huh? Look at this.
You haven't been to Sedona at all?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, it's scenic as hell. Now we might get lucky with the weather here because the original forecast now, as I was looking at, was calling for cold and possible snow and stuff like that. It looks like the forecast as it stands, which could change any moment, is sun through the course of the festival. So it's still going to be a little bit on the cool side. But if we get lucky and the sun is there, man, get ready for some maximum scenitude. Like the scenery is insane in Sedona. And it's like every part of Arizona you drive is like cactusy and whatever else, but then you come into this little oasis that is Sedona, and it's like you've seen the video. It's just hillsides everywhere, just rock everywhere. It's unbelievable. And the riding is very challenging. It's really fun. It's very varied. It's so cool. Like, and more important than anything is there's so many of us creators out there that we all end up hanging out and talking, and it really is a great experience, and it's super fun. I'm stoked to see you out there, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm bummed that I missed you because you came up to Northern California and you rode Downeyville and you rode
when you were in Whistler.
Yeah, and I was in Whistler at the one
hanging
time.
out with my buddy.
I know, Eric, right? Yeah, he was.
Yeah, you were with Eric.
It's so funny. The story behind
when I got that
funny.
call, I was just like, are you freaking kidding me? I'm like, Eric, why didn't you tell me you're going to be in Whistler 1?
Yeah.
And you're hanging out with Joe? All right.
Yeah, cool. This is the funny story, guys. So basically, like,
FOMO.
I'm up at Whistler by myself because I was just like, let me, it's just me. Paul wasn't biking at the time, so I went up there and I get to the top of the lift and I'm about to drop into like one of my first blue trail. I forget the name of the trail, and then like somebody goes, "Hey, Calirado." I was like, I turn around. It's a guy. He's wearing a Gearworks shirt, and I was like, "Oh man, like, what's up, dude?" And he was like, "Hey, I'm Eric. I'm from the East Coast," and like, he's like, "I know Rich," and I was like, "Rich, you know Semi-Sendy?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "What?" So I ended up just riding with him for multiple days, and then I think the first day, we might have been on the lift or whatever we were. We FaceTimed Rich real time. He was driving. You were driving with the guys from Spokex, so it was like. It was just weird. It was like this weird mountain bike circulation that happened. And you're like, what the hell? How'd you find Calirado? I was like, it was just the weirdest experience. But yeah, he's such a cool
We were on the
dude.
way to North Star. We were headed to North Star. Yeah.
You're right, my local trails. Yeah, it was the weirdest moment.
Donner Pass or something like that. Yeah.
So good. We just FaceTimed him randomly. He's like, what the hell? Where did Calirado Kid come from? I'm like, I'm here.
That was so cool. All right, I got a question here that's this one's near and dear to my heart. So Lone Star MTB, maybe you could touch on your involvement with Sorba and Walden's Ridge.
Ooh, interesting.
So Sorba is the Southern Off-Road Bike Association. They're the southern entity of IMBA, and so they're the local chapters that exist here in the Southeast. And this would specifically be Sorba Chattanooga.
Okay.
Shout out to Sorba Chattanooga, to the whole crew. Yeah, doing great things, past, present, and future, including this Walden's Ridge project, just 2 miles from my house, and it is awesome. It's a trail system that we've been working on since, I'll say I have been volunteering up there since 2019. A lot of people have been putting in a lot of effort since far before then. And basically, it's a piece of land that came up for potential use. There's a North Chickamauga Creek Conservancy here. We have a lot of awesome nonprofit organizations around here that are trying to help preserve private land or public land, or I just should say wilderness in general,
Sure.
whether that's public or private, whether they're trying to acquiesce it or they're trying to preserve what already was potentially public. And so North Chick Creek Conservancy had this piece of land that had nothing to do with their watershed that they, are the stewards of. And they were like, hey, what could we do with this land? And turned out it would be a really awesome piece of property for some mountain biking, some rock climbing, some just hiking trails, potentially a public park. There's a big vision with it. And so I got involved by just showing up to a trail work day back in 2019. Didn't know a lot of these people, and met a lot of awesome people. Really got to know a lot of the Sorba entity and just the whole kind of group of people who are into doing trail work around here, and really changed.
You're much more humble than me, by the way, because I go to one dig day and I take credit for the whole thing. I'm like, it's basically my trail system. I was out there building trails. Like, I don't give anybody credit. Like, it's all right. So I'm appreciative of the fact that you do, Rich, by the way.
You know, it's crazy. Like you think I go out and I try to help out as much as I can, and the amount of work other people have done is mind blowing to me.
Oh,
You
it's
know, it's
insane. We
like,
have local trail builds going too. There's this guy Sammy who he's one of the managers at Mike's Bikes. He's a local bike shop. He is out there nonstop. You just see pictures of him just like building trails by himself. Every now and then people go help out. He really does organize a lot of dig days, but it's like there's these people that just are out there nonstop, hardcore organizing crews, and it's like they're doing the Lord's work. I mean, like it's insane, like how much has to go into that and how cool it is. And I wish I had all the spare time in the world to help out. Like I have talked about organizing like a dig day with my work and being like, hey, can we just take a work day as like a paid volunteer day and get a crew together and we'll go. I'll show you guys how to dig mountain bike trails. Like I think it'd be fun and be a good team building exercise. So I'm working on that. It'd be cool, but. Yeah, it's like if I've got one day on the weekend to film and they're doing a dig day, it's like I can't always make it. It sucks because I want to. I love doing it. It's so good.
you know,
It's
I
super
think
rewarding.
I just want to say right here, right now, that there is a false belief, and I think that okay, I have a little bit of a bone to pick.
Okay, here we go. I like it. We're getting them
with,
worked up. We're getting them worked up.
So, I think historically there's been this kind of dialogue that comes from people who I don't know how to put this best. Like this, I don't want to make a blanket statement about people who do trail work at all, like because they're incredible and they're the ones doing all the work. But there's these sayings like no dig, no ride, or trails don't fix themselves. There's all these sayings out there to try to entice people to get involved and help, but they all come from this kind of negative side of things.
Yeah.
Like it's such hard work, and yeah, it is tough work. There's no joke. Like,
Yeah.
you know what it's like to go out and dig
Oh, yeah.
earth. But it's just like mountain biking can be this really awesome social engaging way to hang out with people and make new friends and build community. It's the same thing with trail building. So there's so many people who are into mountain biking, like primarily for the social side of it.
Yeah.
They would love trail building probably just as much.
Yeah,
And
I
they
had
would
no
get-
clue. Agreed. I had no clue until I did a dig day, and I was like, "Whoa, I like this just as much as mountain biking. It was fun. You're hanging out with like-minded people that also mountain bike. It's like, and you meet new riding people like that you could ride with. Especially if you're new to mountain biking, it's a great experience because you spend quality time with people. You're sitting there digging next to each other. You really talk. Like sometimes on a ride, and they dust you right off the gate. You never talk to them again. So, yeah, the dig days. You're right. Can be equally as exciting but like spinning it in a positive way too, not shaming people for not building, but like how do we spin it in such a way to like get people involved and have a blast?
Mountain bike Q&A. You don't want me with a shovel in my hand.
Yeah.
Yes. Just come on.
Fight the zombie apocalypse together. We'll do it. Charlie, did you see Charlie's donation, by the way? Look at that.
Charlie, look at that, buddy. Thank you so much, Charlie. Charlie has been he's been a supporter of the channel for a long time, and I really appreciate him. Yeah, thanks, buddy. I really appreciate that. He's
awesome. He puts up with
Southeast.
me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Does he? Hey, no. Okay, so he told me today that today or yesterday when I announced I was going to be doing this live stream, he said that you were his favorite. I was his second favorite.
Yes. I get
okay with-
I get
I'm
$5
okay with
of
being
that 20
second.
now. I get $5
Yeah,
of
you
that
do.
20.
Yeah, I'll share it with you.
Yeah.
Charlie, I'll buy Joe a beer out in Sedona.
There we go.
On Charlie. Yeah.
No,
How's
we
that?
get everything for free out there. Trust me, Rich. Watch what's going to happen. The red carpet's going to be rolled out. I'm not paying for nothing. It's not really true, but yeah.
No. Voject. What are Semi-Sendy's next moves for 2023? I go to Whistler for my honeymoon. That's all I got.
Do you guys
planned
have
right
dates
now.
locked in yet, by the way? Do you have dates locked in?
Yeah, so we're gonna go the end of August into the beginning of September, into that
That should
holiday
be a really
weekend.
good time. That should be a really good time.
That's
Man,
what I hear.
I was bummed when I went there that I didn't get to ride the top of the world or whatever. It was closed because it was open the day before, and the next 2 days they were doing work up there. Sometimes it's not even supposed to be the most amazing trail, but I wanted to check it out. Where you go from the top of the mountain all the way down to the bottom. Like you have to buy a pass ahead of time. You got to do all that stuff. Check into it, but like they just closed it the 2 days that I was riding, and I couldn't I was so bummed I didn't get a chance to do it. But that would have been a blast.
It looks amazing. That looks like the adventure, like you were saying, you're like, parks are cool, but I want to do the adventure thing. That's one way to go to a park and have the adventure.
Yeah,
right?
and they have trails outside of the park too that are close. Like they've got and then North Shore stuff's absolutely insane. If you go down there and you got spare days, go hang out with Van Can and Dangerous Dave. They're going to be at Sedona. Come talk to them. Like they showed me around. It's bonkers. The amount of wooden features. That area is unlike anything I've ever seen. Like, and Squamish is right next to Whistler, about 40 minutes away where I stayed. And like the riding out there is insane. So it just depends on how much time you have. Like if you're I did park 3 days. I was so beat up, man. It was a lot. I was just hitting it hard, but it was a blast.
Yeah, I definitely want to make that happen. I want to be up there long enough. I think Allie and I are going to have enough time to do some more exploration outside of the park for sure.
Totally worth it.
Yeah. And I also want to get up, and I've got some friends in Bellingham, and I was telling Josh about that as well. And he said to hit him up when I get up that way. And maybe that could also extend it into a couple little exploration to the North Shore.
Bellingham's really fun. So when I did this road trip, and Cody, I see your question. I'm going to answer it in a second. When I did that trip, I road tripped up there, obviously. So I got up to, I was in Seattle for work, and I took off from Seattle, and I stopped in Bellingham, and I rode outside of Seattle in Tiger Mountain, which was really cool. Some locals recognized me and showed me around. It was awesome. And then we got up to Bellingham, and that place is so rad. Why am I forgetting? It starts with a G. Galbraith is really cool because we talk about those like bike park areas where it's essentially like all these trails concentrated, well labeled, a little bit of everything, a really great park. Transition is right there, so you can go and hang out at the HQ and grab a beer after a ride. They do demo bikes. It's such a mountain bike centric culture right there. And the border crossing's real close. And then you're up, from Vancouver and the North Shore and stuff and all that. It's just like that whole area is absolutely bonkers. So yeah, you guys are gonna have an absolute blast, man. And Josh, he said he was out of town when I was there last. And so, I don't know if that's true or not. He might have just been avoiding me.
Yeah.
Cody said, by the way, he says, Cody, he says, Calirado favorite trail in Sedona. I would say at this point, Highline is probably still one of my favorites. I think because the first time I went to Sedona, that park or that trail just beat me up. And then second time I did it, I just nailed everything and it felt great. It's a challenging climb up. I think we're going to do it Friday, by the way, Rich. So we got a group together. If you're down, we're going to go ride Highline, I think. So, but it's basically just it was so triumphant, that feeling of man, I felt great on that trail, versus feeling out of control and scared. So that's one of my favorites. We rode Hogs, I didn't ride White Line, but we were out there. I want to hit Hangover this year, hopefully. So I got to find a way to do that. So we'll see, but Hangover is supposed to be pretty wild too.
That looks scary. I watched, Single Track Sampler's recent Hangover video, and it looked intimidating.
I haven't
that exposure
videos,
just is very intense to me.
Well, we all know I like to expose myself to everybody.
Yeah, whether you shave it into the side of your face or otherwise.
Yeah, one way or another. Yeah, that's right.
But hey, before we lose this next moves question, I actually do have some. I can't divulge too much yet, but one of the things I'm pretty excited about this year is I've always strived to try to be objective in the review videos and things that I do, and try to be able to talk about things in a way that just shares the experience that I have with things, that people can decide whether it works for them or not. And that seems to be paying off because I can be honest and I can be transparent with everybody out there and still have the respect of the people whose products maybe I'm
bashing.
Not bashing.
Oh,
no,
okay. All right.
Not bashing, but maybe it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
But there's this respect that's happened by the way that I can talk about it and approach it. And so I've got some folks that have appreciated my candor and my honesty about their products, and they're actually willing to send me more things and appreciate my honest, transparent opinion to the World Wide Web.
Yeah,
so that's cool. And so I'm excited about that. That's something some things that are going to be coming out of this year is I'll be getting a little bit more the ability to have a little more access to some things to review and put out there. But product reviews aside, I think what I find most rewarding are the videos that like the skill-based stuff.
Yeah.
I just started doing some of those, and I was talking to a friend the other day, yesterday actually, a friend of mine out in Bentonville, and she was saying that, hey, like that video, the braking video that you did, I really tried really hard to implement what you were saying, and it was like this aha moment for me. And that was like, that's like the sort of feedback that makes you feel like, yeah, like that's why I do it. Like that's why I want to share that information. So I really want to, like, I'll keep doing the review thing too. But I think that the biggest thing, the things that are most important for 2023, the things I want to put out there are going to be more the things that connect with like how to improve your riding, or you know, ways of looking at things, ways of thinking about things and approaching things that might make riding more enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to go. I mean, that's such a way to success as well, because people do need that. And like, you know, sometimes you're good at something and it's good to have another viewpoint on that too. And like, you can always learn no matter what you're doing. If it's mountain biking or whatever else, you can always take another viewpoint and be like, I didn't think about it that way. Like, that's pretty interesting too. Let me try that. Like, it's always good to expand your skill sets and your knowledge base. So that's, I think it's worthwhile. You're doing good at it.
Thanks. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. You know, I think that that's something I want to do a little more in the future. I've done some like private coaching, and last year I got certified with PMBIA for as a coach with them. That's an awesome organization, by the way. I've done a lot of like teaching sort of things throughout my life, and I've seen a lot of different structures and ways of going about you know, teaching people and introducing new skills to people in all sorts of realms. And PMBIA has that dialed for mountain biking. I was so impressed. I took that course and I was like, oh, these guys and gals are on it. So,
I would be an awful coach. I'd be like, you just lean back and just go down the thing. You're fine. Everything's fine. What's the worst could happen? You know,
Joe, that's a future video.
I know. There's got to be like
lean back is the first advice that you should get rid of.
the mountain bike coach. It's got to be like that. Now, that also ties into something that I've been meaning to make for YouTube. I've got all these grand ideas for full-length YouTube videos that I just have not had time to film. Here it is. The Ted Lasso of mountain biking.
Who's Ted? Like, why do I know that name?
Damn it, Rich. All right, so
you gotta explain it to all of us.
So it's a huge show. It's a huge show. Basically, a lot of people tell me I look like Ted Lasso. I want to make the thumbnail like basically the identical of this TV show. I want to have like, and it's going to be called The Ted Lasso of Mountain Biking. And I want to just give positive motivational speeches in the mountain bike world, like, and just walk around. And the bit will be like I'm just coaching people in a positive, weird way. Like I want to make that video. I haven't had a chance, but it's I could see it now, right in here. You know?
Oh, it's Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah, Jason Sudeikis. Yeah.
Nice.
So good.
I'm gonna have to watch that later.
Yeah, I haven't watched the show yet. I was doing research. I was watching YouTube clips, just studying. Like I was like best of Ted Lasso, but I totally have access to Apple TV and I haven't watched it yet. As a side note, Vojek just made a donation. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Vojek, yes. Thank you. That's so. Vojek is Tillamook date on me. Nice. So
is that cheese?
It's an ice cream sandwich.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This must be Chris. So Chris, he runs this race team based out of Atlanta, and Alley races for them.
Oh wow. Awesome.
Yeah. And Chris and I went on a Tillamook date searching for ice cream sandwiches in a supermarket in the middle of nowhere, Georgia one time.
If you ever come to Sacramento, by the way, I've got a place that has incredible donut ice cream sandwiches. They're warm donuts, ice cream in the middle. Insane, buddy. You let me know if you ever come into town. I'll take care of you. It's all right. Donut sandwiches on me.
Yep. Already did
Google
that.
Ted Lasso. Yes.
All right. What do we got here? Oh, so Top to Bottom MTB said to hit him up when we come up to Whistler. If you guys haven't seen his channel, he's been growing very quickly. But yeah, I did not realize you were in Whistler. That's awesome.
You know, had he not put MTB at the end of his name, I would have thought the channel was wildly different in terms of content, top to bottom. But I'm glad that you put MTB in there.
What does the T stand for?
Yeah, I don't even want to know at this point. Yeah, it could be wildly inappropriate. Yeah, terrain. Yeah,
terrain. Or MT for mountain, as Josh.
Yeah, I'll keep it clean tonight. All right, I'm keeping it clean here.
Keep it clean.
Yeah, don't worry. Jeez.
So, where did Allie brought something up? You were asking me earlier about racing, and that was one of the things I wanted to talk about. Was one of the things I think is super cool about, or how I got into downhill.
Yeah, because you were doing these magical 100-mile, 13,000 feet races, and then you decided to migrate to the easier route, which is doing downhill, huh?
Joe, I was full Lycra, counting grams, taking the gears off my bike, taking the suspension off of it, because that stuff was a pain to deal with.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And now here I am, no Lycra, all the gears, all the suspension. How times have changed.
You know, the downside of like what I have to do is my costs are good. Like I need to buy some costumes now because I need to buy a Lycra suit to make fun of roadies. I need to make like an XC guys. I need to buy like a bunch of these random like things that I need for some skits that I have in my head that I just like to really sell it. I need the costumes. Bobo's got a bunch of costumes.
I was about to say maybe you could rent them from Bobo.
Yeah,
I'm sure he could start an emporium of just.
Oh
yeah, he could be like there's like the lens rentals place.
Oh, that's a great idea.
But it could just be YouTube mountain biker prop rental. Bobo's YouTube mountain bike prop.
Bobo's bike rental service. Yes. Bike prop rental service. Genius. I'll pitch it to him later. I'll text him right now.
Oh man, I just saw on Amazon. I think I saw the disco ball helmet that he was wearing.
Oh, God, yeah.
In one of his videos. Oh man, I wanted to buy it so bad. It was really funny though because there was a bunch of pictures for how Amazon suggests you use the helmet, and it was just a bunch of people in a club, in a nightclub, wearing the disco ball helmet. I'm like, yeah, they might need that helmet later, you know. Like,
I've definitely bought some things that I did not use them for the intended use. Yeah, for sure, 100%. I don't have a disco ball helmet yet, but most definitely.
Single speed. That's right. That was me. Yeah. So that was why, you know, that's the coolest thing about like downhill and enduro racing. You're not head to head with anybody.
Yeah.
So if you're like me and you don't like to be, you know, fighting for, you know, what do they call it? Shooting the hole or what? I don't know. Taking the, there's a term for that.
That sounds like some top to bottom stuff, if you ask me.
The whole shot. The whole shot.
Yeah.
That's also not related to what you're thinking. Yeah. So it's just you and the clock.
Yeah.
And when you're like me and you're amateur, there's no pressure for if your sponsor's going to leave you or not because you don't have one.
Right. Right. Yeah. Totally true. Totally true.
All you gotta do is get down the hill in one piece, and you're good. So I think that's what's a cool thing. Like if I've had people ask me about you know, somebody asked that earlier in the comments I didn't get to in the chat I didn't get to answer about their best advice for doing their first enduro race, and I think that leads right into that. The best advice is to have fun. First and foremost, have a good time and try to learn one new thing every race. That's it. Yeah. Just go out there and learn one thing. If you can take one thing away from a race, you got your money's worth. You know, it's just enjoy the experience, enjoy the atmosphere, and don't be afraid to talk to people out on course and see if they have any advice for you. And if they don't have advice for you, they might be willing to share their similar feelings on what you're nervous about with you. You know, like, yeah, it's like, it's a cool experience. So just have fun, enjoy it.
I've heard something similar from my buddy Jay Bikesom. He's really good. He races enduro quite a bit. And like, you know, sometimes he says the times when you feel the slowest, you're the fastest because you're just relaxed. You're having fun. You're being safe on the trail to a certain degree. When you start pushing yourself so hard, you risk the accidents, you risk the injuries. Like, I haven't done enduro race. I feel like at some point I will. It does seem like a rad atmosphere where you're just kind of having fun. You're hanging out with people and you're just doing your sections. I'd probably get tired of people being like, on your left, but like, I'll get used to it real fast. I figure like if I was to start in an enduro thing, would it be like, what are the classifications? I would start, there's like a beginner, there's like a pro division, there's just intermediate. Is it just like that? That's it?
It just depends, you know, it depends on the area you're in and like kind of what it can really be a regional thing based on how many people just happen to be into it at that period of time. Because it's fluctuating. So if they have enough people to make a class, they make a class. And if,
because I'm trying to figure out how I would register, and I'm trying to figure out if I would be like, if expert is better than pro, and what's the top, because that's probably where I'd want to be. That's all I'm saying.
Pro. Yeah, you're definitely pro.
Perfect. Yeah. There is one news report that I exist on, that I did a morning news report, and they called me a professional mountain biker. So this can always be label under me. It could Calirado Kid, professional mountain biker. I have broadcast television to back me up on that. All right, broadcast television.
See, this explains why Joe's a pro. It's because of how smooth he is.
That's right. So smooth.
So smooth.
So smooth.
So smooth. Oh man. All right. Let's see what we got next here. You see anything?
I see Johnny wants to know, Kid, can you speak more about your new bike and do your kids, Mr. and Mrs. Yeti? Do they miss my Yeti? The new Revel is rad. Now, technically, it's not my bike. Revel sent it to me as a long-term loaner. I talked to Adam, the CEO. Like, they haven't asked for it back. I don't know if they will. It's one of my favorite bikes of all time. I'm going to be seeing them in Sedona. I'm going to just ask them, like, can I just keep it? Because there's a bunch of stuff I want to do to it. Like, so eventually, hopefully, I think I can see that as a long-term fortuitous relationship where it's like, I really dig the brand. I like that they're a smaller company. And so hopefully something comes out. At the moment, like, I just love riding it. It's great. I'd love to get one of their gravel bikes to not ride it because I'll probably never go gravel biking. I don't know why I would want one. But yeah, I want to get on their rail also, which is like the longer travel at some point. But the Revel's good. The Yeti is in semi-retirement because when I went to Whistler, I beat the crap out of it. And I haven't done anything to it since I got it back because I got the Revel now. The wheels are shot because I shot that video where I was tightening the spokes and I screwed them all up. It's all like this. So there's a bunch of work that needs to be done. Yeah, I just sacrificed my bike for content basically. Like, so it's in my garage hung up. I just got to get a bunch of work done. I was hoping to send all the suspension components to Eric and have him just rehaul everything and really just do a full on tune to it. But I also don't want to put a lot of work into it if I'm never going to ride it that much anymore. So we'll see. I'm not going to sell it. I don't have any desire to do that, but whatever.
Yeah, that Rascal, I haven't ridden the Rascal, but I have a Ranger, Revel Ranger.
Oh, yeah.
I've had that for 2 years, and I love that bike. It's
been
one of my favorite bikes I've ever had, yeah.
I like it a lot. Yeah, I can't describe why things work the way they work. I can say, like, it feels nimble. It feels like I can maneuver it better. Like, I couldn't tell you the components that make that happen. I couldn't tell you cockpit land. I can't tell you any of that stuff. All I can tell you is it feels great. I feel very confident on the bike. Like, I can maneuver that thing quickly, precise. Like, I just feel more confident as a rider on that bike. So it's cool. I dig it.
That's awesome. Like versus your Yeti, you feel a little bit more confident with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Yeti was good, but maybe it's just, I don't know, but something feels different. It feels lighter. It feels like tighter. I don't know. Like, it feels like I can just navigate smaller spaces with it. I feel like I can. That's why I started playing around the rock rolls and stuff and doing some trial style, like, oh, I can stop and I can reposition and now I'm getting a little bit more like better at slow technical progression on stuff versus like before. I'm just having fun with it. Like, so it's been cool.
That's awesome. That's so cool. That Revel's a little more conservative with their geometry than some of what you see out in the world today. And I think there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a nice sweet spot. Yeah, that's awesome. I tried to get that rail, and like initially when they first were releasing, I tried so hard to get that bike to ride it and review it and potentially buy it as like my main bike. And I have never gotten my hands on one, but
so we'll talk to them in Sedona because I'm going to be hanging out with them too. But it was funny because like when I originally reached out, I sent them an email and like I already had it in my mind because I do work with Worldwide Cyclery and they sell Revels and they're rad and like Jeff and them are riding them. So I'm like, they got to be great. And so anyways, I reached out, and the title of the email, I think it was something like, "You don't really need me," and like then the subject matter was like, "Now that you gave Seth a bike, you have no reason to need me to have a bike, but I'm just saying I'm here if you need me." And so like there was like a lull in communication, and then eventually I ended up talking with Adam, the CEO, about whiskey stuff, and he saw my content. It worked out well. It was just conversational. But it was funny as hell because I was like, as soon as I saw them give Seth a bike, I'm like, they don't need us anymore. Jesus.
It's all over with.
Yeah, it's all over
with.
Damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. I was pretty psyched to see Seth pull out the Rebel.
Yeah, I'm sure it was like a drastic change from the Diamondback stuff too, which is Diamondback is a brand that, again, like I don't think I've ever seen, maybe once. This is funny how this worked out, by the way. I was talking to Brian. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a Diamondback on a trail. And then I went to ride, and I saw two people on Diamondbacks. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I don't think I've ever seen anybody on a Diamondback. And then the day I say it is like, that's when I saw somebody. But to this day, you almost never see a Diamondback on the trail. Like, so it's yeah. Anyways, I thought that sponsorship was always weird. Time. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not as often as you used to. They used to be everywhere. But
there goes my Diamondback sponsorship. Damn it. I
Rough
blew
times. Rough times.
I blew it.
Yes, you did. So let's see here. What we got?
As a side note, as we jump into the next question, because Jay's in here, one of the things Rich told me, he was like, hey, I'm a little nervous to do my first ever live stream. And I was like, oh, don't worry. We're just going to sit around and talk. We're at an hour and 40 minutes almost, Rich. Can you believe it?
Yeah, because I have to pee really bad.
Yeah.
That's how I know it's been a long time.
Yeah. That's why I always go pee right before the live stream, like only 30 seconds before.
Yeah. I did, kind of. I was like a couple of minutes before. I had to start that 2-minute countdown. Yeah, right.
If you see his face go like this.
Just the Gatorade bottle, you know, no big deal.
Just don't take a drink of it accidentally.
Oh man. Oh, let's see. So what is Jay saying here? All right, if you guys both had a mustache, it would be wild to have 2 deputy sheriffs on the run and a trailhead trooper edit.
I'm still convinced with the trailhead troopers, there's so many opportunities for content creator cameos, because like you could just write roles for whoever else. It's like it's something that I love the idea of doing more long form content of and making more skits of and things like that. I just need more time in my life. But like, yeah, the trailhead troopers could be so funny because I talked to Bobo. I was like, dude, I kind of want you to be dispatch. Like if I make a call and I'm like, because the most recent Trailhead Troopers
that would be awesome. You gotta do that.
If you guys didn't see it, the premise was like the Trailhead Troopers are like just trailhead cops, right? And like so mountain bike cops, and so they're just ridiculous. And so like he asked the guy, he's like, "Look, man, take it easy. I need to see your ID." And I'm like, "Yeah, you on the e-bike? I need to see your ID." And you check his ID. He's like, "Look, just like I thought, you're not over 65 years old. You can't be on that e-bike." Like those little jokes. But the premise would be like, if you're calling in, you call in dispatch, and Bobo's there with his mustache. He's like, "Yep, rule number 73 confirmed. He's got short socks. You got a citation him." I'm like, "All right, thanks." All it needs to be is like those little cut-ins, like of him as dispatch, like just being the joke constantly. It'd be good.
It's such a great opportunity to just take jabs at like the unfun stuff, like the gatekeeper type stuff.
Yeah,
I just take jabs. Oh yeah, like Bobo's video where he was it was the e-bike thing where it was the "thou shall not pass."
Yeah.
Like I laughed so hard throughout that, and it was literally, what was it? Didn't he take all of that was comments?
All the comments from one of his e-bike videos. Yeah, and it was just people saying stupid crap like, "You can't even ride. You're not supposed to ride an e-bike unless you got a medical condition." Like it's all that stuff where it's like, where are you guys getting this information from? That's what the Trailer Troopers skit was too. A bit of that, yeah.
Oh man, it was pure comedy. It was so great. I loved it, man. God, that's one of the things that chaps me so much. So okay, full confession.
Yeah,
there was when e-bikes first started making their when the smell of the e-bike first showed up in the mountain bike world, I was a skeptic.
I think we all were. Yeah,
I was a skeptic. Definitely a little bit of a, I definitely had some snobby purist thoughts about it. And then I had heard, I like to listen to podcasts. I do a lot of traveling, and so I like to listen to podcasts, kind of pass the time, and I'll just find random ones. And I think I found some interviews with some of the folks from EWS, so I was listening to, and their formats and what they were doing, and they were talking about bringing the e-bike format in. And this was a few years ago, and they were saying the guy said something in the interview about like, hey, like, I will only ask you to ever do one thing when it comes to this argument, and that is to go and ride an e-bike one time and then make your decision.
Yeah.
And then I heard that same thing said a few other times. And so I was at Canuga, I got hopped on a YT decoy.
Oh yeah.
They were doing like a demo day at Canuga, and it was a really fun event there. And I hopped on that decoy, and I was like, yeah, this is fun. Like,
it's cool. It's yeah.
You know, Joe, I rode the same amount of time. I was the same amount of tired. I rode the same amount of time, but I did 3 times as much riding. And so I got to go and do 3 times as many laps at Canuga in that day. And I got to really learn those trails in a way I haven't been able to before, because I just fatigue out beforehand.
Yep.
But by the end of that ride, I was gassed. Like, I was tired. I put everything into it, pretty much exhausted the battery on that bike, and had a really, really fun time. And I changed my mind.
And that's such like the perfect scenario for it. That get up to the top fast, get extra, like those bike park scenarios are the perfect scenario where it's like, why? You don't just negate the climb and you just have more fun. You learn the trails better. It's like a blast. I like them for backcountry adventure stuff. I've said it before, where it's like you go and do these massive rides, 6,000 feet of climbing and 35 miles, and you see this pure adventure ride. Like that, those are the two, like, it's just where it really shines to me. Like on my daily rides, I don't really need it. Like Granite Bay is pretty chill. I don't really need it out there, but like those are 2 great scenarios where they really shine. But again, there's no wrong answer. It's like, just go have fun is all that matters. If you're having fun, great. Then that's all that matters. Like as always.
Yeah, just have fun on bikes. I think, as long as everyone's following one rule, everything will work out. Don't be a jerk.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be a jerk. Don't be an idiot.
Yeah, just be cool. Just go out and have fun and be respectful of the people around you. I think there's space for everybody out there.
I think one of the first comments I got when I rode, I'm borrowing a Forestall from Worldwide Cyclery, and like I was out there riding it and like just riding by somebody, he goes, "Oh, you're cheating." I was like, Jesus, already? Like you almost see it from the other side where like, people just say stuff to you like that. You're like, why? Like, what does it matter? Like, jokingly or not, I don't know. The guy seemed serious, but I was like, okay, it's not even my bike. I'm just borrowing it to shoot a video.
Joe, he was probably serious.
Yeah, he probably was.
Have you ever been on Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm doing a series.
They have groups for mountain biking.
Yeah.
Yeah, go read that sometime.
I know. I'm doing a series of educational e-bike content for the International Mountain Bike Association. The second video should be hitting soon. I got a third one I got to produce. But like, they put their video on Facebook and they just got eaten alive, like on the comments section. It was just purely like the first video I made was just like, hey, this is what it is. Like, and it was just, it was presented in a fun way. It was like the different classes of e-bikes. And of course, like everybody's like, e-bikes are real bikes, like just like nonstop. I was like, this is crazy. Like, where do these people live? What do they do? Like, what's going on here? I don't know. I'm just like, I just like the people having fun. I don't care how you have fun. Go have fun.
Just go out and have fun. And if that's what gets you out there and gets you stoked, go for it, And honestly, I mean, look at Bobo. Look at him. He's a prime example about how this argument that it makes you lazy and gets you out of shape is completely, totally bogus. Like you can get lazy and get out of shape with anything out there, or you can use it as a tool to go the distance and get in like really good shape. I think I would get in pretty good shape with an e-bike. So if anyone wants to sponsor one for me.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Send it over.
I would love to have an e-bike.
Send it over.
I would love to have one.
Hey, what is this? Segment says, what are your favorite brakes? Also, I just ordered the Trail One Alloy Boys. How do you like them, Joe? Favorite brakes? I got the Haze on the Yeti. I'd like to transfer them back over. I still don't like the SRAM brakes. They're just too squishy for me. Shimano are better in my opinion. But yeah, I have the Haze brakes on the Yeti that I got to pull and put on the Revel. I'm hoping to do that soon. Those are really punchy. Bike Sum was the one who suggested those to me. And then Earl has a good question too. He says, Joe, do you do radio? I can hear you doing a morning drive show. It's true. I did used to do radio for a time. I was on the radio with V101 and RB, an old school station, but it was short lived because I realized like there was no pay in it. So I ended up getting into engineering and building the radio stations. But it turns out you could just build your own thing, and that's what I've done here, right? Like that's what we've done. Is like we could just build our own thing. So now you could do podcasts, live streams, all that stuff. So, and the money all goes in our pocket, all $3 of it. You know.
I always saw you more of a sports announcer.
I don't know anything about sports. That's the problem. I haven't watched sports in years. Like we have a sports radio station in our cluster of radio stations. And like, I was like, oh, I would jump on, but I don't know anything about what you're talking about anymore. Like, it's comically bad. Like I just know about mountain biking now. I
think you do well in dodgeball.
Yeah, that could work. As long as it's like comedy based. I'm still convinced. I mentioned it. I would like to get to where they allow me to host the Pink Bike Academy. Like I want to be a co-host on that show. And there's there's nothing stopping me. All right. All I got to do is meet the right people and they're going to go, this guy can talk on camera. Let's get him. And then that's my first million right there. I'm pretty sure that's how much they paid Katie Burrell.
It would work. I think they should hire you.
I know they should. Everybody should. The fact that nobody's tried to reach out to me and pay me a bunch of money to host something is preposterous. It's preposterous, right? Rich. Like it's unbelievable to me.
Preposterous. Hey, if you want, you can fly over for however many races for Downhill Southeast this year and co-host the Downhill Southeast race replay with me.
I could just provide color commentary.
I feel like this is how it would work out. Do you ever watch World Cup?
No.
No?
Are you talking about soccer?
No. Downhill racing.
No. You know what's funny about that, by the way, is you bring that up. I tried to watch, was it Red Bull Rampage? And then I realized it was behind this weird paywall that it was on ESPN, but then you had to get the Red Bull app, and then you had to do, like, there was like a lot of legwork to watch this thing. And the weirdest part about racing, by the way, is the fact that I have a mountain bike channel, all right? My channel is mainly mountain bike content, and I have never once been marketed mountain bike racing content. Like not once has an ad popped up. Not once has like this live stream's coming up. You want to check it out? Like not once. So I'm not sure who's in charge of the marketing department, whether it's EWS or whatever else, but like, how am I not seeing a single thing like pop up on YouTube anywhere that says, hey, there's a race coming up. Would you like to watch it? Because I might click on it, but I've never once had something fed to me. So what are they doing? What's going on over there?
It was on Red Bull TV.
It was free. Red Bull TV. I think I downloaded it and I was like, this sucks. I don't know. Maybe I think
they did a really good job with it.
Ah, damn it.
But they're not doing it anymore.
So
but
wait,
now it's going to be more difficult, I think.
So Red Bull Rampage was on the Red Bull app. You could watch it for free.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I could have watched it then. Sorry, that's my
fault. World Cup downhill racing you could watch for free. And so Rob Warner was the host, and everybody else that was a co-host was basically just always in the shadow of Rob in a way. They were all amazing co-hosts, but like that would be us. You would be Rob.
I'm quite capable.
I would be trying to fill in, and then you would be like, yeah.
I would jump right in. Yeah. The thing,
I'm not even going to try to do a Rob Warner impression.
I know.
Right now.
The thing about me is I know that I could learn. So I don't know the racers and stuff, but like I could fine tune the skill set. Like if I was put in a position, if it's one thing I've learned about myself is that if you put a challenge in front of me, I'm going to figure it out. Look at you, brave soul, taking a drink of water while you got to pee, by the way. I know that even if I'm not prepared, even if I'm not prepared, I know this about myself that I will figure it out and get good at it, which is why I landed an acting gig recently, and I did phenomenal. They gave me one of the lead roles in the part, and I came out of that on the other side. Nervous as hell, but by the time I was done with it,
this.
I know I don't know when I'll see it. They did 10 days of primary shooting. I was present on the final day, which was a bar fight scene. And I'm hoping that it sees the light of day. I don't know if they said they'll send me a link to this. The story was told on a live stream of mine. So if you want to go watch it, go ahead. It says the Calirado Kid goes to Hollywood or something. But
everyone should watch that. I watched it.
It was a fascinating experience. I told a great tale about it, but it was really interesting. And it was like, so that I know that about me that I am capable of taking a situation where I'm wildly underprepared and succeeding at it. Right. Or at least like coming away exponentially better than when I went in. So I know that enough that the nerves don't bother me as much anymore because I'm used to it. It's that wall, right? It's like, man, I'm nervous as hell to do it, but let's just go. Let's do it. And so I'm stoked on that. And so, yeah, put me in a hosting position. I'll figure it out and we'll go from there.
Cool. Weekend after Sedona, just you can come stay at my house. It's TTC. It's about 45 minutes from the house, and that's the first gig.
I just need some company to start paying for my hijinks, because like the idea of traveling all over the world is like what I want to do, but me paying for it is not what I want to do. It's like one of these days for sure.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Well, Joe, it is 10:51. It's getting late here on the East Coast.
Yeah, we don't want to hold everybody hostage too long, and it's late for you, and you got to pee, so we can't go too much longer for sure.
I could put that countdown.
I've been there before.
I might not make it back in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
This has been awesome, man. This has been a great time. First time doing a live stream.
Ladies and gentlemen, his first time doing a live stream here tonight. And look at that, with 2 hours with ease. So it's like, that's one of the things we talked about. I'm like, once we start rolling, man, now you're gonna end up doing live streams either solo or with other people. Sometimes it's a little tricky, but you figure it out, you learn things, you get better at it, but it's fun, man. It's a good chance to hang out, and I'm stoked we did it tonight. And I'm stoked to hang out in Sedona, man. It's gonna be awesome. Next week I'll be driving out either Wednesday or Thursday, so I'll be out there through the run of it. And I'm hosting a group ride on Saturday, but that you don't got to go to that. But I think we're doing a creator ride on Friday, and we're gonna hit Highline. So if you want to circle up, I'll reach out to everybody else and try to line that up. But it should be pretty good.
That's so I'll be out there for the Highline one. So cool. I'm staying with Robert.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. So he's putting it all together. So we're just gonna follow him. He's a fitness guru right now. This I was gonna say, this man's maniac,
been on the trainer with the ERG.
Yeah, he's a maniac.
Throwing down
I'm
the
scared
watts.
to ride with him now. Yeah, I had to get some riding in so I don't come and embarrass myself. All right.
Robert's awesome. I had such a good time with him. He's great. Spent one day with him and his buddy Johnny, and we did Mount Huff and Mill Creek, and which was just such a fun day. Mill Creek, that was like maybe one of my favorite trails.
Mills Peak.
Mills, is it Mills? Yeah,
Mills Peak. Okay, yeah. Right near. Did you go to Brian's property while you're out there?
We went by it.
Okay, yeah, Everstoke's right there. It's right there.
Yeah, it's all the entrance to it and whatnot. Okay. Right, and is it Grey Eagle or Great Eagle?
Great.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, it's Griggle. I think they say Griggle.
It's like, what does MTB actually stand for?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're just gonna come up with all kinds of stuff.
Josh thinks he knows, but
yeah, Josh knows everything.
Yeah, what a beautiful place. I definitely want to get back out there. I want to take Allie out there.
Yeah, Downeyville's one of my favorite spots.
Yeah. I want to come and come back to Sacramento, hang out, shoot down to Santa Cruz.
Oh yeah, yep.
Check all that out.
Good riding down there. We'll get Jay Bike some to show us around some of the local stuff too. There's a lot of good trail systems out here. He's really good about this stuff.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, give us the grand tour, Jay.
Yes, and we'll get Brian if he's around. Him and I rode Rockville the other day. It's fun to just go session out there too. So if everybody's in the right places, we'll line up all the cogs and all the little puzzle pieces, and we'll figure it out.
All the stars.
Mark, you can't wear costume. Well, actually, you could wear costumes to my group ride if you want to. I do get some giveaways too. I discovered, so I'll talk about that soon, but not tonight because we don't need to. That's about it, huh? I let you sign it off, right? Otherwise, I'll talk all night.
How do you sign it off?
Oh, I just say thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. You know?
Do you have to say? But is there any like radio protocol, like 10-4 over and out?
No. Now I just play my screensaver, and like what's happened now is I've become infamous for never stopping the live stream. So the people that are on my live streams now understand that like when I stop it, I don't actually stop it. So like I always come back and I've got something else. It's just like 3 or 4 times, and it's just like ridiculous. But I'm just like, wait a minute, something popped into my head. So I'll stop the countdown. I'll jump right back in, and so I do that. It's totally unnecessary.
Nice.
The one thing I will say is necessary is you've got to give yourself a little buffer, because if you were to hit end right now, it would cut my sentence off, and people would be like, oh, that's it? So you got to be like, thanks for tuning in, and then you got to be like, oh, stay tuned for this. Here's the next thing coming up, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yes.
And then you give yourself a little time, and then you can also outro music, and that helps. This is Calirado Kid lessons for you right now.
Oh, man, we all get to learn together.
I know. I thought you just ended it. That would have been a good comedy bit right there if you just ended it right there. Like,
well, no. So everybody, thanks for joining this evening. It's so cool to see everybody. I wish I could have answered. We could have gotten to so many more comments. There were so many good ones. We'll have to do this again, and I'll have to like be more on top of that. But yeah, it's time for us to sign off here and go hang out with my wife for a minute. And I hope everyone has an awesome weekend. Joe, I'll see you in Sedona.
Very
If
soon.
anybody else is listening to this and you're going to be out in Sedona, come say hi. Yeah.
Have you figured out yet how much you're going to charge for autographs yet? Did you kick?
Oh, I thought I had to pay people for that.
No.
I get paid for that?
Yeah, when they come up to you, you got to have a rate card. You just hand it to them. You don't have to talk to them. You don't talk to them. Don't even make eye contact. On the card, probably best if it said, just don't make eye contact with me until you hand over the money. This is how I do it. I'll share it with you later on the back end. It's fine.
Joe, I'm doing it wrong. I got an email from a company saying that I could pay them and they would have people come and ask me for my autograph. And I already gave a deposit.
No.
I just shouldn't have done that. Oh, man. Okay, I screwed up.
We'll see you guys on the next one.
I'm psyched. Can't wait for Sedona. I hope I see some of you out there. If I don't, I hope I see you on the trail. Until next time, yeah. Joe, thanks for joining me tonight. And everyone have an awesome weekend.
This is where he hits the end button. Oh, look at his genius. Perfectly executed. Look at this.